Hello, everyone. In this example, I want to show you how to work with fiscal years. All of you who have been working on Excel for a while know that pivot tables are fantastic at creating quick summaries, and we probably cannot imagine living without it. But there's one thing about pivot which is really bad, which is the fact that you cannot create a fiscal year. For example, if I insert a pivot table from my data and I keep my order date in the rows and the sales in the values, you will notice that when we expand, Q1 here refers to Jan, Feb, and March. And that's not a good thing, right? Let me remove the quarter and the day. So we now only have the year and the month. If we want to look at the running total, for example, and I right click and show values as running total, you will notice here that it is not really working properly. In fact, let me not keep the month, let me keep the quarter so that you can see everything properly. So running total in my quarters. As you can see, it is adding up 338,480,611,829, which is great. But the problem is that it is doing it from Jan to December. That means Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 financial year, not the fiscal year. And if you want to do April to March, you're stuck because this is not correct. So how do we handle this? I want to show you how to do this in Excel, in PowerBI, and also on Tableau. So first, let me delete this. The file, by the way, is available on GitHub in case you want to download it and practice. The first thing we want to do is to enable Power Pivot. To do this, you go to File, Options, then you go to Add-ins, and then you select the second option, which is COM add-ins, COM add-ins, and go to, and here we will select Power Pivot. You might have other things that appear here as well, but don't bother with that. Just select Power Pivot and click on OK. The moment you do that, without needing to restart the system, you will have Power Pivot as a new tab here. Now we will again go to Insert and create a pivot table. But this time when I go to From Table, Table 13 obviously is the name of the table here. In fact, let me change that. I'm just going to change the table name to Sales. So when we go to Insert Pivot Table, you notice that I will select this option called Add this data to the data model. This is how it will get sent to the data model and Power Pivot can access it. So I'll click and press OK. It creates a pivot table. But there's one more step left to create a date table and connect it via a relationship. So we go to Power Pivot and we go to Manage. You can see the table here, but we want to create a date table, right? So I will go to Design and select Date Table and create a new date table. As you can see, this is a quick way of automatically creating a date table. In this case, from the 1st of January 2012, all the way up till 31st December 2016. But remember, this second table that has been created, the calendar table, is a separate table. It is not connected to my sales table. To do that, we go to Diagram View and we have to create a relationship. So if you notice, I'm selecting my order date and then dragging it and selecting my date like this. And it creates a one-to-many relationship. Let's go back. And now if you look at the pivot table, we have this all option that has appeared. And remember that option is only coming because we had sent our original table to the data model. Hence, you can connect two tables into a single pivot table. So from the calendar, I'm going to choose my date. And from the sales, I'm going to choose my sales value. Let us zoom in a little bit. Remove the decimal place, and I will also expand, but we do not want, give me a moment. So what if we don't keep the date hierarchy, but we keep my year and the month? Let's put the sales one more time. Just like we did before, we will do show values as running total. And this is the same result that we had earlier as well. But because we have added it to the data model, I can also use a DAX expression. So we go to Power Pivot and we select measures. We create a new measure. We'll call this YTD as per financial year. And we will say that we want to calculate the total YTD, which is the sum of sales, the date here would be the date from the date table. So that would be calendar date. And then we will also use the year end date. That would be 03/31 in double quote, like this. We check the formula. There are no errors. Let's press OK. And you notice that something very interesting has happened. This is showing me the YTD for the calendar year, but this is showing me the YTD only for the fiscal year, April to March. So if I put a color here, I'm sure you can observe this, everyone. See this. For the first 3 months of the fiscal year, we have 98, 202, and 338. Then it resets, starts again at 114, ends at 232, like this. And thus we wanted, right? So this is what we wanted, and we have managed to do this using a simple calculation. You can see that the calculation has been created here in the pivot table with the FX symbol, YTD as per F5. And in case you want to change it, I can just go to Power Pivot, Measure and Manage Measures, and we can delete or edit it from here. Let's do the same thing in Power BI as well. Even though everything is going to be exactly the same, I still want to show it to you just so that you're comfortable with the new interface that you have. So first, let me select my Excel file. Okay, it seems the file is open, so I'll first have to close that. So let me save it on my desktop. And let's call this Excel YTD as per F5. Let's close this. Come back to Power BI and we will go to Excel workbook and we select the same file. Orders compact, load. All right, first thing we need to do is to create a date table. So I'll go to the data view and here we select new table. And of course, we can create the tables in different ways. I have a separate video explaining how to do that. But for now, we'll create a simple calendar that would be nothing but calendar auto, like this. Now we go to the relationship view since we have to connect the two tables. And here I can simply connect my order date with the date, just like we did it in Excel as well. Come back to the visualization pane. I will make a table. And in the table, we'll keep our calendar date. We don't need to see the day and the month, so we'll just see the year and the quarter. And we select the sales value like this. Let me also make sales with 0 decimals. Now for the measure, we go to a new measure. And here we say this is my YTD as per FI. And this would be exactly the same expression. So we are saying total YTD. We are doing the sum of sales. For the date, we are selecting the date from the date table that we created. So calendar date. And then we're also writing 03/31 for the end of the fiscal year. That is it. We will add this measure below sales. And as you can see, 3384801. And then we have 1091. To understand it better, let me keep the month here. So we do it the same way we did it on Excel. You can see we have 98,202,338. And again, it resets. So we have 114,272,480. There you go. And finally, let us see how to do the same thing on Tableau as well. So I'm going to first select the same Excel file. Let us create a sheet. Now, Tableau is very simple in the sense that you don't really have to create a relationship and a date table and all of that. You can just change the start of the fiscal year. To do this, before I do this, let me show you what would happen if you don't do it, and then I'll tell you how to do it. So if I select order date and sales, and let me change it into a column chart, and we'll also click on the plus sign so that we can see the quarters here. In fact, let me do it one more time and remove the quarters. So now we only have the year and the month like this. Now, if you look at the sales value, you can see the label here. So 98, 103, 135, same numbers. If you want to see the calculation, we can go to quick table calculation, and then we can select our YTD total like this. But this formula that we have written, which is the running underscore sum of sales, the formula is correct, but we need to change our fiscal year. To do that, first on the data source, you go to date properties, and here you change the fiscal year start to April. And one more time, you select order date, and here you change the fiscal start year in the default properties to April. There you go. Now you have Jan, Feb, and March like this. That's exactly what we wanted, right? In fact, if I put the sales in the label, two times. So one is the original value. So for Jan, we are doing 98. For February, we're doing 103, so the total would be 202. And in March, we're doing 135, so the total will be 338. So let's just put everything side by side. So I have the Power BI and the Tableau here. So if you look at the calculation, everybody, yeah, so that's what we have. we are now able to see both Tableau and Power BI. And as you can see, we have the sales YTD as per the fiscal year, April to March.